right now and say, here's how we settle debate questions. Give me an argument why I shouldn't shoot you.
Because it's against the law and you'll probably go to jail. Have you seen Forensic Files? Don't shoot me.
You know, he has two ways to go. I've got the gun right on it.
I mean, there's lots of different ways you could go. I mean, if you're close enough, maybe they go for the gun. Maybe they sprint away, you know. Maybe they try, there's sand in the environment. They kick it up at your face, you know. They try some razzle-dazzle shit. Throw off their coat to kind of hide where they are in your vision and jump one way or the other and hope you fucking, you know, don't shoot where they are. I don't know. You could try to fucking appeal to all kinds of shit, you know? Like, I got a family. I don't know. I mean, there's lots of things you could do. It's not just two things. There's lots of fucking things. You've got a very limited imagination, sir.
357 Magnum. I said, go ahead, make my day. He's either going to give me no argument and say, well, there aren't any moral absolutes, and if there are no moral absolutes, then it's perfectly all right to win a debate by shooting your opponent.
Why would the person with the gun trained on them say that? So the person with the gun trained, like, even if the person with the gun trained on them doesn't believe in moral absolutes, they obviously would just lie. No one's going to say, like, well, ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, my life is meaningless, so go ahead and end it, I guess, if that's what you wish to do, good sir. No one's saying that at that point.
Really, I'm not playing games here. If there are no moral absolutes, then I can win the debate by eliminating you. Not just your thought, your body and everything. You're gone. But if you say no.
I mean, historically, lots of debates have been settled in that exact way and feel the way you want to about that, but from a purely pragmatic standpoint, killing the person giving you trouble is usually a pretty good resolution to the conflict. I mean, you know, like I said, you don't have to like that. I don't have to like that. No one has to like that. But we have to acknowledge that that's just the fucking plain and simple truth of existence. That's why our society has to heap tons of penalty on the crime of murder, because otherwise, I mean, it's so easy. It's so tempting. This person has pissed me off. I feel they have betrayed me. They're continuing to cause me problems. Now would be a great time for them to not exist anymore. That's why we have the law, you know? That's why we have social institutions that are like, hey, let's not kill each other. You don't have to constantly tell people not to kill each other unless there's some sort of appeal to killing each other. And most people are not looking to kill each other because goddamn killing just gets my dick hard. Usually it's just a matter of convenience. Like, you know what would solve all these problems? If that useless son of a bitch was fucking dead. So it's a practical concern for a lot of fucking people. That's why it has to be hammered into our heads so much. Like, hey, don't kill each other. Killing is the ultimate bad thing. Don't kill. Killing's wrong. If there was no appeal to it, you wouldn't have to tell people that. If people were just naturally like, murder, ew. You wouldn't have to tell them. Like, you don't have to raise people to be like, you know, don't eat cat shit. I mean, maybe a little kid will eat cat shit a couple times, but eventually they're going to learn. Cat shit no good. Very few adults go around eating cat shit. You know, they don't have to be told constantly. We don't have to have massive penalties in fines against eating cat shit. I guess it's harmless anyway. At least to everybody else but yourself. But you see the point. So you know, the point I'm trying to make is whatever moral judgment you make about shooting someone in the head to end a conflict with them, at the end of the day, it's an effective solution, especially if you live in a society that was like, you know, before modern law.
No, no, no. It's wrong for you to try to win a debate by shooting your opponent, Dr. Bahnsen. Murder is immoral. Then he's going to have to tell me there's more to this universe than just matter in motion, isn't he?
No. I mean, like, your hypothetical situationist argument is so fucked up. It's like, imagine that you were under tremendous emotional strain and your life was in the balance, and you're literally, your continued existence depends on you coming around to my position. Would you come around to my position then? Well, yeah, dipshit, you got a gun trained on me. Yeah, I guarantee you, if I put a gun to your head and said, all you got to do is say there's no God, and I won't shoot you, you're going to be like, God is a lie, God is a lie. Because you know Jesus will forgive you later on, if you even really believe in him in the fucking first place. And, you know, by the way, that story about the Columbine girl who, you know, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold pulled out a gun and they're like, we will shoot you unless you renounce God. And she refused, and they wrote a book about it, and her parents went on speaking tours. Yeah, that story never actually happened. So don't bother bringing that horse shit up.
He's going to have to appeal to something beyond the material cosmos. Ultimately, he would have to appeal to the personal God of creation. But for our argument here, he's got to go somewhere beyond the physical world to get a moral absolute by which to condemn me in shooting him or trying to shoot him to win the debate. So you see how he's put on the horns of a dilemma? And every atheist you talk to is on the horns of that very dilemma.
No, I'm not on the horns of that dilemma. There's no psychopath pointing a gun at me saying, agree with my position or fucking else. Yeah, I mean, like, when it comes to you pointing a gun at me and me saying, oh shit, it's not the moral code against killing that's motivating me and my decisions at that moment. It's the fact that I don't want to be imminently killed by somebody. That's what's motivating anything coming out of my mouth at that point. The desire not to be shot. The overall concept of morality in terms of murder is not even on my fucking mind. Unless I'm just trying to think about it so I can figure out what you want me to say so I can tell you what you want to hear.
When I had a dialogue with George Smith, who is another published and very well-known atheist, on the Jon Stewart show, Mr. Smith came into that dialogue and wanted to make the point that we should live by reason, not by faith. Well, you already know from my lecture that I had him trumped on that, because my argument is if you don't have faith, there's no place for reason at all. But more important...
Classic argument, dude. Classic argument. Classic cough. If you don't have faith, there's not even any place for reason. Because reason, it goes in a closet in the faith room. And if you ain't got the room, you can't have the closet. And if you don't have the closet, you can't have the reason. So, something that's totally antithetical to reason is necessary for reason. Sounds reasonable. What? I mean, what is this guy smoking? This guy has been allowed on television. This guy has been allowed on TV to debate atheists. Okay.
Importantly, at the beginning, when he was talking about how we have to follow reason and all that, I responded by saying, I agree with you, George. I think we're supposed to follow reason. I know why, as a Christian, I tell people to be reasonable. I don't know why you do. You know, and it was kind of like blink, 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 what?
Yeah, it was like blink, 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 what? Because that's stupid. It wasn't like you were laying some next level brilliance on him and he was like, oh shit, what? Oh shit, you've defeated me. He was going blink, 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 what? Because he was flabbergasted by how fucking ridiculous that sounds.
Come again? I said, how can you, as an atheist, tell people that they ought, hear that word, ought to be reasonable? In an atheist universe, people should be able to do anything they want.
And they can. I mean, within the boundaries of the laws of physics, people can do anything they want. I could fucking go outside and get in my car and drive it into every mailbox in the neighborhood if I wanted to. Now, would I suffer consequences for that? Yes, but I could do it if I wanted to. Like, any sort of behavior is available to me as long as it's physically possible. Like, I can't sprout wings and fly away. But I could, like, I don't know, I could stomp on a fucking cat. I could decide I'm going to quit YouTube and become a tax attorney and devote all my attention to that. Like, there's any number of fucking things, good, bad, whatever label you want to slap on them, that I could do. The full range of human behavior is available to me. The only thing that's stopping it is not God going like, hey, don't do that. The only thing that's stopping certain behaviors is a lack of inclination to do them or a lack of desire to deal with the potential consequences of them. But none of that is a God-given barrier. That's just shit that man put in place. Right? Right. So what, with all due respect, which is none, what are you talking about? What are you fucking telling me here?
The atheist cannot give a basis for moral absolutes. And that isn't just a way of showing that atheists have got to allow...
Okay, look, atheists that have moral absolutes, they can justify that shit themselves. When it comes to me, you're right. I can't justify moral absolutes, so I don't. I can't, so I don't. What's the problem? Where's the logical inconsistency there? If there's no God, I mean, honestly, even if there was a God, why would his moral code be objectively true? I've never understood why God's opinion would somehow be fact. Like, the laws of physics in the universe are, if you try to do something against the laws of physics, it won't work because you cannot break the laws of physics. So if you want to ascribe a God to the universe, those are his rules. The rules that you literally cannot break them. God that says, hey, don't have gay butt sex. Well, you're still perfectly physically capable of having gay butt sex. So why didn't he stop that? Why didn't he make that against the laws of nature? Like, why didn't he make it, if a male penis tries to go near a male asshole, then they just repel each other like two fucking magnets, when their polarities are fucking reversed or the same or whatever the fuck makes them repel each other. Like, that could just be a law of nature, right? God didn't do that. All of the rules that you're talking about, even within a universe where there is a God, are still just created by man. Because when God makes a rule, it's unfucking breakable. But even if God was of the opinion, like, I don't like butt sex, I don't like it, for some reason I'll let it continue, but I don't like it, and people who do it are going to get punished. Well, they don't get punished in any sort of way that we can actually see. They just go to hell after they die. So I don't know. It's not actually stopping them from doing it. It seems like laws and the rules of society are determined by the society and by the state, not by God. That's every indication I fucking see.
For sexual perversion, abortion, and murder, and all the rest, that's also a way of showing that the atheist can't even do academic work. And this may come as a surprise to some of you. I'm keeping a file of clippings on this, but repeatedly we are finding in the university setting falsification of lab reports for the sake of getting funding to do work. We see people, not just for money, by the way, but also for fame, falsifying results to make themselves out to be the first one to have discovered a certain connection or something like that. And it's incredible, and it's very embarrassing. Because you see, the university system, in the well, all of the departments. But let me just begin with.
Okay. So, is there a problem with falsification in science? Yeah. To what extent that problem exists, I don't know. I don't work in that field. But I've read enough, and I have enough friends who are scientists to know that there's some inkling of truth to that. But there are so many checks and balances in science. Like, results are replicated and replicated and replicated and replicated and replicated over and over and over again by labs all over the place. So yeah, sometimes someone finds something in a study that can never be replicated, and people realize, oh, that's junk science. We can't replicate the results. It's bullshit. And it might take them a while to find that, but it will be found. What process does the Bible have to weed out the errors? And you can't say there aren't any, because the thing is rife with contradictions, and the thing is rife with morality that you don't follow today. You don't kill gay people when you see them. You mix fabrics. You eat shellfish. You wear polyester. I already said the mixed fabrics, whatever. You don't care if the food you eat came from a farmer that plants different kinds of plants in the same field. You don't give a shit. So, science has a process of litmus tests. Like, everything has to pass the bullshit test, which means if one person did a study that discovered something, then other people repeating that study should see the same or similar results. And if they don't, that means, oh, hey, shit, this person snuck a shady study by us. And all of this shit has to be peer-reviewed. So there's a huge, verification, falsification fucking process going on in science. Does Christianity have anything similar to weed out its problems? No. The nearest thing it's got is it just reacts to the whims of the populace. And by the way, it keeps splitting off into yet more fucking divisions. Like, ooh, we disagree on this one tenet. Oh, we need to be two separate religions now. Christianity is not one big monolithic religion. It's a bunch of little fucking religions. A few of them are big on their own. But tons of different fucking sects, tons of different beliefs, tons of different ideas about what the objective morality of God is.
With the sciences. All of the research and laboratory work that is done in the hard sciences assumes the honesty of the researcher. Have you ever thought about that?
No, it doesn't. That's the opposite. It does not assume the honesty of the researcher. If it just assumed the honesty of the researcher, why would every paper have to be peer-reviewed before it gets published in a scientific publication? Why would the results of their test need to be replicated by other people? It specifically built in a shit ton of mechanisms because it doesn't just assume that the researcher is honest. What the fuck are you talking about?
It assumes that you're going to make an accurate report of what you found out from the white rats the next day when you went back. But if you start changing the statistics to make it look like your hypothesis really was true, who's going to come along and do the months and months of research to find out that you were lying? And so you see,
if your results were important, someone will. At some point, someone is going to do it. Or someone's going to try to develop technologies or procedures based on what you said, and they're not going to work, and people are going to be like, hey, why isn't this working? This study confirms that this is happening. And by the way, any fucking person who's going to do research and development for a major corporation or something like that, for any sort of technology or medicine or anything based on that scientific research, is probably going to redo the test to make sure that the results were accurate. So research and development reasons that you'd redo it, just trying to confirm an important discovery in your field might compel you to do it. There's lots of reasons that might compel you to try to replicate their results to make sure that they're verifiable. I mean, like, this is just dishonest bullshit. Every word out of your mouth since you started talking has been dishonest bullshit. This is a guy named Greg Bahnsen, by the way. I mean, what the fuck is this?
Because most people are unprincipled pagans in the university today, the university is more and more coming up against this embarrassing situation. We're finding out people are fudging on their lab reports, to put it very simply. But now, if you were an atheist, you should say, so what? It's different strokes for different folks. This is how I, get my money. This is how I get my fame. This is what makes me happy. Chill out. Bug on.
Yeah, but the problem is, once again, there are social reasons why you wouldn't do that. If you fucking publish this study that gets you fame and prestige and shit, and then other people find out that your study is bullshit, that fame and prestige is going to translate to disgrace and humiliation pretty fucking quick. So you might ride high on the hog for a little while. By the way, how many scientists are really famous in America? Like, not many. I mean, we got a few. We always have a handful of, like, here's the really, really, really smart people. But for the most part, there's not a whole lot of famous scientists. We have, like, a few token famous scientists. That's what we have here. So, like, this idea that all these scientists are out there scrambling for fame, I mean, wouldn't they be hiring fucking press agents and shit, making sure that they're out there in the public eye? Did you hear about my latest research? I mean, most of the time when this research is reported on, the newspapers don't even bother telling you the names of the fucking scientists. And when they do, it's not like it's a fucking biographical piece about them. It's about whatever the research was, usually summarized poorly.
Off, get out of here. It's okay. The university's embarrassed by that. The embarrassment of the university, the embarrassment of the professor, the embarrassment of your roommate over the fact that scientists sometimes lie shows that they believe there are moral absolutes. Those moral absolutes have got to be assumed in every department, though. Let's go over to the English department. Let's say you got an English teacher.
I mean, no. You could. Sorry, Mike, I don't want their reputations ruined. But you have motivation to not want them to lie because it might inconvenience you in the future. If you affect society negatively, then those repercussions will probably be felt by me at some point. And a shoddy piece of research could potentially set society back, so don't do it. There's fucking reasons, and you don't want to read a fucking story in the newspaper or wherever, that's, oh, a new study says this. Oh, cool. You don't want to be lied to. No one wants to be lied to. People want the correct information. So there's selfish reasons why you wouldn't want someone to lie to you. And that's why you put a kibosh on lying to whatever extent you can actually do that, which is very little. I mean, people all over the place lie. I mean, you've told several lies during the course of this video, Greg Banson. So I don't know what you're talking about. Once again, I mean, there's no actual prohibitive force preventing you from lying. It's like what you're really talking about is how people should feel about stuff. What you're saying when you say you believe in an objective morality is there's an objective right way to feel about certain things. And I just have to ask, what are you basing that on? And I mean, I guess your answer is you're basing it on a fictional character that you devote worship to. And that's just a really strange answer.
Who's been promoting moral relativism in all of the literature that she gives to you and all of the class discussions and lectures. She's trying to point out that it's different strokes for different folks. And she wants you to imbibe that. She wants you to realize that everything is relative. There are no moral absolutes. It comes the day of the final exam, and she wants you to shine on this final exam. Boy, I'd cheat like mad. I mean, not really, but to play the devil's advocate here, I'd just cheat, like a trooper. In fact, I'd make it real obvious. I wouldn't just kind of look over in somebody's paper. I'd walk right on over there and say,
well, then you would be caught. And plenty of people do cheat to pass tests, There's lots of sophisticated ways that people cheat all the time. I mean, professional sports teams cheat. People buy fucking subscribers and shit on YouTube to cheat. I mean, there's lots of different ways people cheat. And once again, we're not talking about, there's nothing, people can cheat. They can do it. They have to be sly, because if they do it like what you're saying and just brazenly do it, they're going to get caught. They don't want to get caught. Maybe they do want to get caught, but that's just their idiosyncrasy. Yeah, I don't know what you're fucking talking about, dude. It's just like you keep talking about how people should feel about things. What you're really saying is not it's objectively immoral to cheat. What you're really saying is everyone should feel that it's immoral to cheat. But people don't feel that way. Lots and lots of people feel like it's okay to cheat, and they do. And they fucking do. And you saying you shouldn't do that ain't stopping them. And you saying God said don't do that, that ain't stopping them either.
Hey, what's the answer to number 12? Thanks a lot. Come back. What do you think your teacher would do who's been teaching you moral relativism? Teacher would come back and say, what do you think you're doing, Greg? Say, well, I didn't know the answer to number 12, so I wouldn't ask her. Does it look right to you? No. Just say, you're supposed to do your own work. I'm going to have to, disqualify this exam. You're going to fail the class. Now, do you think I'm going to move in for the kill? You hypocrite. You taught us all semester that there are no moral absolutes. Who are you to condemn me?
Why does a moral have to be absolute in order to condemn someone? Everyone has their own fucking personal fucking morality. Everyone does. Everyone has their own set of things that they think are okay and their set of things they think are bad. Now, there's some really twisted people out there that think, like, murdering people is okay. Rejecting me because I'm an ugly fuck is not okay. So there's lots of people with twisted morals out there. But you know what? They go out there into the world and pragmatically they live by those rules. They live by the fucking rules in their brains, and you can't stop it. If there was a true moral absolute, they physically wouldn't be capable of doing the things that are wrong. It would be just as ironclad as the laws of physics. If this was rules given to us by God. This is not even rules. This is just you saying anyone who doesn't agree with my moral sentiments does not believe in this golden concept called absolute morality or moral absolutes. I don't know. I think I've said everything that could possibly be said about this.
YouTube makes it hard for creators to make money on this platform, so I appreciate your support through PayPal or through Patreon. Links to both can be found below in the description section for this video. And once again, thank you.